Hello everybody, this is Gruesome Fox coming at you with a 700 cost rated match here in the Moon Gundam. We are going to be on Arctic base for this match here, and have things really been looking interesting for GBO2 here. First we had the addition of F91 not too long ago. Then for the anniversary they added Crossbone with the X1 and X2 Kai. And now as part of the post-anniversary event, we now have our first AU mobile suit in the console version of GBO2, that being the Wing Gundam Zero Endless Waltz, which for the rest of this video I am just going to be calling it the Wing Zero. That's the name I'm more familiar just kind of calling it, but yeah, we do have the Wing Zero from Endless Waltz as our first AU mobile suit for the console version of GBO2. Originally, AU suits were locked behind the Steam version of GBO2 with suits like the Freedom Gundam, the Burning, I don't remember if it's the Burning or the Shining, I think it is the Burning Gundam, which I think is also called the God Gundam, so might be mixing up the suits there, but then they also had the Wing Zero added as well for the Steam version, so with the 30th anniversary of Wing going on, not really too much of a surprise to see that is the Wing Zero that was added, as part of the, little AU mobile suits in GBO2 here, but, again, still really cool to see it in console, that we're finally, getting to that point of having these suits, and it's also going to be very interesting next week, because, next week we are supposed to be getting the Tallgeese III, which I think is also from Endless Waltz, and that's going to be the first non-Gundam AU suit added, so again, lots of interesting developments for GBO2 here, but really just wanted to get a 700 cost match here, because I have not played 700 in really a long time, so it was kind of nice to get the Moon Gundam back out, but yeah, really wanted to get some matches, try to see if I could find some with the Wing Zero, which has not been hard. In a majority of the matches I've been playing for 700, I have been running into this suit, so it's been a pretty common suit so far. The Wing Zero is a 700 cost raid, which is also very interesting. I'm assuming they made it a raid to differentiate it from the Wing Gundam, because from this point, after the Wing Zero and the Tallgeese III, I can only assume that at some point we are going to get the other AU mobile suits that were in the Steam version. We'll probably get Freedom Gundam and all them at some point, and the Wing Gundam in Steam is a general, so again, probably just trying to differentiate the two Wing variants there for when we, likely get it in the console version here. And the Tallgeese III is also supposed to be, I guess, the main general for the Endless Waltz lineup here, which is also going to be very interesting. I'm actually very curious about the Tallgeese III. That one does look very interesting, so I probably won't spin for it because, I'm still saving up those tokens and whatnot, but I don't know, that Tallgeese III is actually kind of tempting, but that's really the big news here. Again, the main reason I wanted to make this video was to just really get some matches against, or either with or against the Endless Waltz Wing Zero here, which luckily with this match I was able to have kind of, both there, so that was pretty cool. And again, taking out the Moon Gundam, which I have not done in a while, really. After at some point, I just kind of stopped playing 700 really all too much. I think it's just because 700 at, some point kind of became a bit too stressful to play, so I started focusing a bit more on playing the lower costs, but honestly, it's been a lot of fun recently getting back into 700, especially with the, buffs that we've had recently, and I've also just been seeing some very interesting mobile suit picks in general. Like for this match here, the enemy team has both a Zezulu and a Jesta, so I've been seeing some interesting lineups when it comes to the teams, but the one thing I am really glad about is that it seems like the Wing Zero is actually a fairly balanced unit, which is like the thing the only suit I'm kind of afraid of when it comes to the AU suits getting added to console is the Wing Gundam, the general on Steam, because I have just seen and heard so many things about that suit being overpowered, so You know, if we do end up getting the Wing Gundam in the console version here, I really hope that means they get enough data to kind of properly deal with it. But again, I don't know, I think the meta is also different between like PC and console when it comes to like how players play the game and whatnot, so you know, maybe on console will be a totally different situation, but with the Wing Zero here, yeah, it seems like a fairly balanced raid, actually. It can be really good in the right hands, but, you know, other than that, again, just kind of a fairly balanced suit from what I have seen of it. So, you know, that's like the good news there. Again, really excited to see how the Tallgeese III is going to end up performing, but, yeah, again, that's really it for the big news there. Yeah, really just going after this Kshatriya here. And yeah, but the Moon Gundam, I'm honestly surprised with the Moon Gundam how much this suit still seems to hold up. Because I think the Moon Gundam, it was buffed a while back. I think it was buffed when I actually, around when I think I first got the Moon Gundam, I think that's when it got its buff, and it was a really nice buff for this suit, but again, I think that's kind of why I stopped playing 700 at some point, because even with the Moon Gundam, I really wasn't performing all too well, so I kind of just took a break from the cost altogether, and coming back to it, you know, even with all the new suit additions, all the adjustments they've made over time, Moon Gundam still seems to hold up really well, so really glad to see that as well. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see where GBO2 kind of goes from here now that we do have AU in the console version. I'm very curious what this means for the PC version of the game. I wonder if they're going to try and do anything with that, since that seemed to be the whole selling point with the PC version of GBO2 was that it had those AU mobile suits in it, so it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with that if they do add the other AU suits into the console version. So yeah, that's going to be something, you know, to keep an eye on there, but yeah, other than that, you know, maybe we'll get some grunt suits. I've overheard that I think, at least this is what I've heard. I heard the Leo was like in some data mines. I don't remember ever hearing that or not myself, but I have heard about it recently, so you know, maybe we have the opportunity to get some grunt suits from AU as well, which I feel like the Leo would be a good sort of testing ground to kind of see what the reception to AU grunt suits would be. I feel like a lot of people would get the Leo too, just for like the memes of like, you know, Leo just you cough on it and explodes. So yeah, it'd be very interesting if we really do get the Leo, but yeah, that's gonna be timeout mission over, and let's see how we did with this 700 cost match here in the Moon Gundam. And in the back there, you can see the Wing Zero. It does have its own very unique pose with the feathers coming out, which I think is really cool. But yeah, top individual, top assist, and top in damage. And second place with 6 kills and 3 loss. So really good match there with the Moon Gundam. And yeah, kind of going back to the victory pose for the Wing Zero there. Again, really cool pose how it has the wings out and you have the feathers that come out from it. I think that's actually really cool. I always like it when mobile suits get their own unique victory-like poses. So very cool to see what they did with the Wing Zero there. But yeah, that's going to be everything for the match there. I kind of just went on more about like the AU suits and whatnot, and not really anything about the Moon Gundam, but you know, Moon Gundam's not really a suit that needs any introduction on this channel. It is my favorite 700 cost general, so again, really like it, really fun suit, absolutely love the Moon Gundam and enjoy playing it, but yeah, really just to kind of summarize things, again, just kind of seeing where GBO2 goes from here, both when it comes to console and the PC version. Yeah, like really just, I wonder where they're going to go with the AU suits. Again, I think it really just, maybe just depends on the reception for how well the suits perform in terms of like token pack like sales and whatnot. So, You know, I have been seeing plenty of the Wing Zero, and I think there are a good number of players that, at least from what I've seen, that are excited for the Tallgeese 3, so I think Tallgeese 3 is also going to be a picked up suit, but yeah, that's really all I have for this video here. Comment down below what you think about AU suits finally being added to the console version of GBO2. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and with that, I will see you all in the next one. Later.